Jerusalem is one of the most important cities in human history. For thousands of years, it has stood at the center of faith, empire, and conflict. Sacred to Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, this ancient city has inspired devotion, sparked wars, and shaped the course of civilizations. Few places on earth have been fought over as fiercely as Jerusalem. Kings, emperors, caliphs, crusaders, and conquerors have all sought to claim it as their own. Across nearly 5,000 years, the city has changed hands dozens of times, witnessed the rise and fall of mighty empires, and survived destruction that would have erased almost any other city from history. Yet Jerusalem endured. From a small settlement built around a single water source, it grew into the spiritual heart of billions of people. Its streets have seen prophets and pilgrims, merchants and monarchs, warriors and worshippers. Every stone carries the memory of a different age, and every generation has added another chapter to its extraordinary story. But how did a modest settlement in the hills of the ancient Near East become the world's most sacred and contested city? To answer that question, we have to travel back nearly 5,000 years to the very beginning of Jerusalem's remarkable journey. The story of Jerusalem begins around 3000 BC. Long before grand temples and towering walls dominated its skyline, the area was little more than a settlement clustered around the Gihon Spring. In the dry hills of the region, this reliable source of water made life possible and attracted some of the earliest inhabitants. Over time, the settlement grew. By the second millennium BC, Jerusalem was inhabited by the Canaanites, who fortified the city and established it as an important regional center. Ancient Egyptian records mention the city, proving that Jerusalem was already known to neighboring powers thousands of years ago. Everything changed around 1000 BC. According to biblical tradition, King David captured Jerusalem and made it the capital of the Kingdom of Israel. The city's central location made it an ideal political center, but David's decision carried a much deeper significance. By bringing the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem, he transformed it into the spiritual heart of his kingdom. David's son, King Solomon, expanded upon this vision. Around 970 BC, he ordered the construction of a magnificent temple that would become the center of Jewish worship. Known as the First Temple, it housed the Ark of the Covenant and established Jerusalem as the holiest city in Judaism. For centuries, Jerusalem flourished as the capital of the Kingdom of Judah. But its growing importance also made it a target. In 586 BC, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II laid siege to the city. After months of resistance, Jerusalem fell. The Babylonians destroyed the First Temple, burned much of the city, and exiled many of its inhabitants to Babylon. For the Jewish people, it was one of the greatest tragedies in their history. Yet Jerusalem's story was far from over. When the Persian ruler Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon in 539 BC, he allowed the exiled Jews to return home. Many made the journey back to Jerusalem and rebuilt the city. Most importantly, they constructed the Second Temple on the same sacred site as the first. Over the next several centuries, Jerusalem passed through the hands of powerful empires. Alexander the Great conquered the region in 332 BC, bringing Greek influence to the city. After his death, rival kingdoms fought over Jerusalem, introducing new cultures, ideas, and traditions. Not everyone welcomed these changes. In the 2nd century BC, Jewish rebels, known as the Maccabees, rose against foreign rule. Their victory restored Jewish control of Jerusalem and rededicated the temple, an event still commemorated today through the festival of Hanukkah. But another empire was already on the rise. In 63 BC, Roman forces entered Jerusalem. Under Roman rule, the city experienced a period of remarkable growth. King Herod the Great launched enormous construction projects, including a massive expansion of the temple complex. Pilgrims from across the region traveled to Jerusalem, making it one of the most important cities in the Roman East. It was during this period that a man named Jesus of Nazareth arrived in Jerusalem. According to Christian belief, Jesus preached in the city, was crucified nearby, and rose from the dead. These events transformed Jerusalem into one of Christianity's holiest places and forever linked the city's history to the development of a new faith. Tensions between the Jewish population and Roman authorities eventually exploded into open rebellion. In 70 AD, Roman legions besieged Jerusalem and captured the city after months of brutal fighting. The Second Temple was destroyed, leaving only sections of its retaining walls standing. One surviving portion would later become known as the Western Wall, one of Judaism's most sacred sites. The destruction changed Jewish history forever. Without the temple, religious life evolved, but Jerusalem remained at the center of Jewish identity and prayer. Centuries later, the city would gain even greater significance. When Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire, Emperor Constantine ordered the construction of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, believed to mark the site of Jesus' crucifixion and burial. Pilgrims from across the Christian world flocked to Jerusalem, further elevating its status. Then, in the 7th century, another major faith arrived. Following the rise of Islam, Muslim armies captured Jerusalem in 638 AD. Under Islamic rule, the city became the third holiest site in Islam. The Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque were built on the Temple Mount, creating landmarks that continue to define Jerusalem's skyline today. For a time, Jerusalem became a city where Jews, Christians, and Muslims all worshipped within its walls. But peace would not last forever. In 1099, European crusaders captured Jerusalem during the First Crusade. The conquest was accompanied by widespread bloodshed as thousands of inhabitants were killed. The Crusaders established the Kingdom of Jerusalem and ruled the city for nearly a century. Their control ended in 1187 when the Muslim leader Saladin defeated the Crusader armies and recaptured Jerusalem. Unlike many previous conquests, Saladin allowed many residents to remain and restored the city's Islamic character while preserving important Christian sites. Over the following centuries, Jerusalem was ruled by the Mamluks and later the Ottoman Empire. Under Ottoman rule, the city's famous walls were rebuilt, many of its historic districts developed, and communities of different faiths continued to live side by side. By the 19th century, however, new political movements were reshaping the region. Jewish immigration increased, Arab nationalism grew stronger, and European powers became increasingly involved in Middle Eastern affairs. The First World War brought Ottoman rule to an end. British forces captured Jerusalem in 1917 and established the British Mandate of Palestine. Over the next decades, tensions between Jewish and Arab communities intensified as both groups laid claim to the land. In 1948, following the creation of the State of Israel, war erupted across the region. Jerusalem was divided, with western areas controlled by Israel and eastern areas, including the Old City, controlled by Jordan. That division lasted until 1967, when Israel captured East Jerusalem during the Six-Day War. Since then, the city has remained at the center of one of the world's most complex and enduring conflicts. Today, Jerusalem stands as a city unlike any other. Sacred to billions of people, it contains some of the most important religious sites on earth. Its streets reflect thousands of years of history, faith, conquest, and resilience. Empires have risen and fallen. Kingdoms have vanished. Armies have come and gone. Yet Jerusalem remains. A city shaped by countless generations, revered by multiple faiths, and fought over more than almost any place in human history. Its story is not just the story of one people or one religion. It is a story of humanity's search for identity, meaning, and belonging. And after nearly 5,000 years, that story is still being written.